When I'm going in the trenches, I played against and with all these guys. I'm going with who I know. Every single night, that responsibility to go out there and represent greatness every single night.
So Steph Curry shouldn't be offended when he watches this.
I hope not. He's still a great player. Not a Hall of Famer yet, though. He's not.
Michael Jordan is arguably the greatest basketball player ever. 6-0 in the finals, never saw a Game 7, 5th all-time in points, yada yada. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter we have ever seen. His accolades are aplenty, sitting 5th all-time in three-point percentage and less than 500 made threes away from passing Ray Allen for most all-time. He has overcome ankle problems that we thought would have derailed his career many years ago. And what we saw in this interview on Today was a glimpse of Michael Jordan, ultimate competitor. It's the competitive fire of old, reignited with one question. MJ is the kind of guy who will not give dudes props even when his career is over. Just watch his Hall of Fame speech, for Christ's sake. The question that was asked, is Stephen Curry a Hall of Famer? Is fodder for sports radio and ESPN Today. It's a soundbite for a GOAT poo-pooing on, in his mind, youngsters when really they're veterans. Steph Curry, as I said previously, has the numbers. 2-time MVP, 3-time champion. Seems likely to hold every meaningful three-point record in league history by the time he hangs them up. He's already 3rd all-time in made threes. However, let's rewind. NBC's Craig Melvin asked MJ who his all-time starting 5 is.
If you could pick 4 guys for your pickup team, 4 guys that you play anybody else with, Hakeem Olajuwon, Magic Johnson, Scottie Pippen, and James Worthy. That was 6 years ago. Lots happened in the league in 6 years. Would you keep the same 4?
In a heartbeat. When I'm going in the trenches, I played against and with all these guys. I'm going with who I know.
All obviously superb picks, unchanged from his original picks in 2013. However, there are holes in his starting 5, like no Kobe Bryant, no LeBron James, no Kevin Durant, to name a few. So when LeBron overcame a 3-1 deficit to the greatest regular season team who beat Michael Jordan's team 72-10 for 73-9, the Golden State Warriors, LeBron said this.
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time.
For
That's
so
what I
many
felt.
reasons.
Jordan clapped back at James saying, "I would never say I'm the greatest player." Jordan made it a point to say he cringes when he hears others call him the greatest. In other words, unlike LeBron, there's no need for Jordan to call himself the greatest when others do it for him. Again, Frank Isola via The Athletic. But let's revisit the Steph comment, since that's what he brought up. Steph, if you ask anyone, from league executive to fanship that flood NBA arenas, they would say Stephen Curry is a Hall of Famer for many reasons. There are layers to this. The first is he reshaped the game. The three-point line was introduced in 1979, and it took until giving Curry the freedom to play the way he does that made GMs and team presidents restructure their entire rosters. Curry is the reason teams have gone smaller. Hard math, is 3 greater than 2? Ask the Houston Rockets. Stephen Curry revolutionized the game. He revolutionized the way we think about the game. He revolutionized the way scouts scout the game, the way GMs add players in the draft, spacing, etc. We went from back to the basket, Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan using the window big men, to small ball lineups. Remember the Golden State Warriors when they won and Andre Iguodala was the finals MVP? It was because they had a small ball death lineup. Stephen Curry is vital to opposing teams' success, even in ways you may not imagine. As Draymond Green once uttered, Steph can completely ruin an entire team's defensive possession and not touch the ball. He's the greatest shooter ever, and a spot is reserved when the 5-year retirement window closes on the first ballot of the Hall of Fame. Personally, I appreciate Mike for the fodder, and I also appreciate Stephen Curry's entire career.